Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the slight delay in making this beginning, but at least now you can imagine that setting up webinar requires a lot of effort and energy. मुझे कुछ लोगों की तरफ देख कर तरस भी आ रहा है, रोज़ा है, और लेकिन as Muslims, I think we are determined to fight the spirit of patience. So thank you very much. Showing up in such great numbers on such hot summer day in Lahore. Today when I turned on the television in the morning, the news was इस वक्त लाहौर का दर्जा हरारत पाकिस्तान के तमाम शहरों में सबसे ज़्यादा है, 36 डिग्री सेल्सियस। तो सुबह उठते ही गर्मी का आगाज था, लेकिन thank God we are here in nice weather, enjoying the network. Yes. Okay, I saw energy when I walked in. I saw energy in nooks and corners of this room, but most of the people, जैसे मेरे भाई हैं, ये relax कर रहे थे, very enjoying the environment. But that's the beauty of coming together, gossiping. I mean, this is good time. This is exactly what is called networking. And can anyone spell the name of this event for me, please? Aamer Saab is witness to the fact that I have received trillions of phone calls today, everyone calling it an Iftar party by ACCA. So welcome to the Iftar party, but this actually is ACCA annual member network meeting. An annual member network meeting. So this name tells you quite a few things. Number one, this is an annual event. Number two, this is around members. So only active ACCA members. ठीक है, और ACCA इस मामले में जल्लाद है, active members के मामले में. Non-active members don't have any business here today. Okay. Network. So we are a very strong network, right? We are bound together. और आमिर साहब आपसे जिक्र करेंगे कैसे ये नेटवर्क पिछले 2 सालों में मजीद स्ट्रॉन्ग हुआ है, ठीक है? And this meeting taking place. We are joined by our worthy members from across Pakistan. So Lahore is lucky because Lahore में Iftar party भी हो रही है. But people from other cities, they were saying why Lahore? So we said to them that look, Iftar party is going to happen in Karachi and Islamabad as well, right? So till then, please enjoy the network meeting. Now, this session has a statutory nature as well. And that is because every year ACCA has to hold this annual network meeting. Okay. Now, this annual network meeting or the alternate annual network meetings are also important because उसपे हमारी members network panel switch हो रहा होता है. How many of you here know about the members network panel? MNP? Okay, how many of you voted? Oh wow, that's energy. Excellent. Okay. So voters here mostly, isn't it? and to be honest, I think these MNP candidates have done a fantastic job in making sure everybody knows about MNP, everybody knows about the role of MNP, and what function do they perform, and why should you vote. And this is not a political election. We are undergoing political elections. 3 महीने बाद उसकी भी बारी आएगी. This is non-political, right? This is to keep us together, networked. Okay? Not that the other one is not meant to keep us together. That is also meant to keep us together. Now, the agenda for today. The first discussion, the first talk will be delivered by none other than Sajjeed Aslam. How many of you know Sajjeed Aslam? All hands go up? No. Sajjeed Aslam is the head of ACCA Pakistan, my friends. The senior most official of ACCA on ground. Okay? And he speaks, जिन्होंने face to face नहीं देखा होगा, उन्होंने इनको टेलीविजन पे जरूर देखा होगा, और जिन्होंने टेलीविजन पे देखा होगा, अखबार में जरूर देखा होगा, नहीं तो Facebook लाइव में देखा होगा, नहीं तो वेबिनार पे बोलते हुए देखा होगा. Because he doesn't even have Sundays off. He was on a television station even yesterday, talking about ACCA, the passionate sort of energy he has in him, I mean, displaying that on television. So the first discussion today is going to be by him, and he's going to talk about, Sajjeed, I'm sorry, I'm going to steal a bit of your thunder, and that's going to be about your true earning potential. Again, बहुत indicative है, बहुत सोच समझ के टाइटल रखा गया है. Your salary नहीं कहा गया, your stipend नहीं कहा गया, your salary और stipend नहीं कहा गया, ये लिखा गया है your true earning potential. Potential का मतलब है आप इसको कहां तक खींच के ले जा सकते हैं. ठीक है, so very important, very inspiring session. This will be followed by a speech by Mr. Aamer Allauddin, and he'll be delivering the annual address and talking about the performance of Members Network Panel. And then I'll come in very briefly. I'll just take 2 minutes before Iftar, and I will formally announce the results of Members Network Panel elections as well as appointments. Okay, so with no further ado, let me invite Mr. Sajjeed Aslam, the head of ACCA Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause.
Thank you, Haroon. So first we have to find out kis ko nahi pata who I am. That's a risk you are running, guys. That's a big risk. The first thing I'll encourage you, try to find out Din TV made 27th May ki transmission on Eagle Eye. I think you will find some of the concepts which ACCA is working on and ACCA is engaged. That's a session. There are a lot of other sessions, but I think that was very much specific to ACCA. They were we were privileged. We had a one-to-one session rather than having 4 speakers and 1 moderator. So it was great. Another area which I'll encourage everybody, and first I have to again ask, how many people understand the term Pakistan Leadership Conversation or PLC? 1, 2. That is a flagship conference for ACCA, which happened every year for last 2 years. And if you go and try to find out Pakistan Leadership Conversation 2017 and 2018, and you will find out there are 2 conferences which has taken place, and there is a lot of content which will be available. Another question, and then I move to the main agenda. How many you are familiar with the term professional insights? Okay, great. And how many you have gone through professional insight? Kisi ne research padhi ho puri last month before? Few, yes, no. Some are very apologetic hands. They are, yeah, that's okay. I think these are the fundamentals. एक चीज आपने याद रखनी है, अभी हारून ने बात की थी नेटवर्क की. So आपकी net worth जो है ना, वो आपके नेटवर्क से डिटरमाइन होती है, and what type of endorsement you get out of it. So अगर आपका नेटवर्क जो है वो आपके स्किल्स को इंडोर्स कर रहा है, आपके फेलो मेंबर्स को इंडोर्स कर रहा है, और आप उन्हें रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं किसी एम्प्लॉयर के सामने, गवर्नमेंट के सामने, so that's bringing a different type of brand image. अगर आप कोई एक ऐसा एक्ट परफॉर्म करते हैं जो किसी के लिए एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, बहुत ज्यादा प्रोफेशनल नहीं है, तो दैट्स नॉट रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन यू ओनली, दैट्स रिफ्लेक्ट ऑन योर मेंबरशिप बॉडी एज वेल. सो बी वेरी केयरफुल व्हाट यू डू on an everyday basis, because that's a reflection of your network. So, and your network, how many knows that, how many people, how many members we have right now worldwide? 200,000. So that's the network you really represent. So just make sure these are the people who are represented by you whenever you are interacting with somebody. I think the first phase, normally we run it in a webinar way, and then there is always a different polls we run, and we try to collect some information. This is the 4th session I'm running right now. So there is a recording, I'm sure, Haroon, there is recording available for the previous session, and you can go and see what people are talking about in terms of what they expect in terms of earning and what they are earning right now. The first thing, expectation. Just with the raise of hand, how many people feel as a member, and not affiliates, as a member we are talking about, as a new member, what is your salary level should be? 75,000, 75 to 250,000, More than 250,000? 700,000? And you will be surprised there are members who are earning that. There is a certain little bit experience gap. So new member versus people with the 3-year experience. We are a membership body जिसकी इस वक्त 7-8% of the membership जो a part थे, they have crossed a million club. And we are talking about, keep that in mind, our average age is 29. Right? Our membership age is 29 as we speak. And the people have joined the million club. And that's we are talking about 7-8%. I'm not talking about 1% or 2%. People are earning there. So similarly, there's a term which is called stipend. Do you know stipend term? Where we refer to stipend? With trainees, right? And the average stipend, we used to have 22,000, which is going up right now. Our regulated, recommended stipend Pakistan mein jo hai, that's somewhere like 11 to 15,000 ke darmiyan ki different stages की recommendation है. But ACCA का average stipend 22,000 से ऊपर था, जो अभी हमारे latest survey में हम एक दिन में उसको finalize भी कर रहे हैं. That's increasing. But the challenge is that it starts from zero and goes up to 150,000, where regulated stipend is consistent between 11 to 15,000. Right? So that's the gap which we are working. This morning we were having a session जहाँ पे हमने उनका real stipend की बात की, how much they are earning, and the people who are earning, the affiliates who were sitting there, उन सब की range जो थी वो 50 plus पे थी. I haven't gone to an affiliate group जहाँ पे 50 plus की उनकी आ रही, but today was a very very unique group जहाँ पे 50 plus की stipend की बात हो रही. Sorry, which one I'm using? They're not very happy with me. The first thing, self-awareness. I think there are a lot of benchmarks. You will go online and you can run different tools and measures to really go for the self-awareness, and that's the step one when you have to evaluate what is your earning potential. But by the way, my life experience is that your earning potential is the one which you decide. If today you decide this is the number you want in terms of salary or client fee or business income, that's what represents your first milestone. And it's a matter of decision. It's not the matter of opportunity. It's a matter of decision. Once you decide that, then it gives you the second phase. What does it take to get there? Unfortunately, हमारी current generation जो है, they are not very clear what they really need in terms of money. They start with, because वो fear से start होता है day one पे, whatever you get as a first thing you start with it, and then you stick to it because आप risk averse हो जाते हैं in a stage, and you try to avoid those risks के हाँ मेरा क्या potential होना चाहिए, but still आपकी dream और desire वहीं की वहीं रहती है, लेकिन वो risk appetite आपकी नहीं रहती, आपका वो decision नहीं वहाँ पे रहता. That's why an important message for your juniors is that while they are affiliate, while they are under training, they should work out what exactly the area they should be working and what number they are looking for. That helps a lot to structure what type of skills you need to develop and what type of conversation you need to come up with. We conducted surveys, we conducted some research. Anybody aware of a research called Generation Next? Anybody aware of the professional accountant of the future? That's a big research pieces. और उसका जो outcome आ रहा है सबसे बड़ा, that is what are the 7 questions your clients or your employers are looking for. वो क्या skills हैं जिसके ऊपर they put a price. एक तो price है, एक fundamental price है ना आपके technical और ethical skills की. What are the additional features they really want to value? ये बिल्कुल ऐसे है कि आपके एक phone का fundamental feature है voice or messaging, SMS. But how much you pay for an iPhone, which is well beyond that feature set, जो आपका fundamental requirement है, या आप एक Samsung का phone लेने चाहते हैं, what do you really pay for that? Versus आपको market में exactly उसी जगह पे एक 3100 रुपए का Nokia का phone भी मिलेगा और आपको और brands भी मिलेंगे जो feature phone कहलाते हैं, जिनका key feature जो है वो maximum internet access तक होता है. But how many people are carrying feature phone right now? किसी के हाथ में Nokia, किसी के हाथ में एक standard phone. एक चीज अगर 3100 रुपए में अवेलेबल है या इवन इससे कम में भी अवेलेबल है, why we are not carrying that? There must be some reason, and you put a lot of value beyond that. आप 1 लाख रुपए का आईफोन लेने में ज्यादा इंटरेस्टेड होंगे, फंडामेंटल फीचर सेट वही है, वॉइस है, एसएमएस है, बट उसके एडिशनल फीचर्स हैं, एंड हाउ यू डाउनलोड दैट, हाउ एम्प्लॉयर रियली नेम इट, आपके आईक्यू की बात होगी, आपके क्रिएटिव क्वेश्चन की बात होगी, आपके डिजिटल क्वेश्चन, हाउ मच यू आर फेमिलियर विद द टेक्नोलॉजी, इमोशनल क्वेश्चन की विजन, व्हाट डू यू सी फ्यूचर। फाइनेंस का एक बहुत बड़ा रोड मैप अब सीईओ और बोर्ड मेंबर पे है, सीएफओ पे नहीं है, बिकॉज दे आर सपोज्ड टू प्रोवाइड दैट एक्सट्रापोलेशन कि फ्यूचर क्या होगा, क्या व्यू होगा फ्यूचर के मुतालिक। सो दैट्स एक्सपेक्टेशन फ्रॉम द फाइनेंस प्रोफेशनल। एंड देन एक्सपीरियंस, इफ समबडी इंटरेक्ट विद यू, आप क्यों आईफोन यूज करते हैं या सैमसंग का या एंड्रॉइड यूज करते हैं, बिकॉज उसका यूजर एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा है, इट फील्स गुड, राइट। समबडी हु इंटरेक्ट विद दोस फोन, दे फील गुड। आप नोकिया के फोन से इंटरेक्ट करते हैं, यू स्टिल इट सर्व द पर्पस, आप फोन करके किसी से बात कर सकते हैं, बट वो फील नहीं है। सो दैट्स व्हाट कॉल्ड एक्सपीरियंस क्वेश्चन। सो इफ आई एनकरेज एवरीबॉडी गो थ्रू दैट रिसर्च एंड ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ये क्वेश्चंस क्या हैं इनमें से। एंड बिलीव मी, यहाँ पे जितने मेंबर्स बैठे हुए ना, आई एम वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट 60-70% पीपल आर डेमोन्स्ट्रेटिंग दैट। इट जस्ट द फिनिश ऑफ द लास्ट 30-40% जिस पे आपको थोड़ी सी मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, तो आप एक वर्जन ऑफ द फोन से दूसरे वर्जन ऑफ फोन में कन्वर्ट हो रहे होते हैं। अंडरस्टैंड दीज 7 क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज आपका एम्प्लॉयर और क्लाइंट इस पे एक वैल्यू, मॉनेटरी वैल्यू प्लेस कर रहा होता है। प्रोफेशनल इनसाइट, अभी हमने बात की नोकिया में आपके पास बेसिक सेट मिल जाता है, बेसिक आपको फीचर्स मिल जाते हैं। सिमिलरली एसीसीए के केस में जब आप एग्जाम पास करते हैं एंड आप एथिक्स मॉड्यूल को गो थ्रू करते हैं, आप एक्सपीरियंस गेन करते हैं, तो आपने अपना एक फंडामेंटल फीचर्स कंप्लीट कर लिए, ठीक है। यू नो दैट थिंग थ्योरेटिकली, यू हैव बीन असेस्ड फॉर दैट। उसके बाद आपने एथिक्स का एक मॉड्यूल किया। आपको नया नाम पता है एथिक्स के मॉड्यूल का नया नाम क्या है? व्हाट इज द न्यू एथिक्स मॉड्यूल कॉल्ड? Louder? Now that's a basically app है, EPSM, Ethics and Professional Skill Module। और जो आप members यहाँ पे बैठे हुए ना, and it's worth £60 उसकी वैल्यू है। अगर आप आज ACCA को दोबारा से ज्वाइन करें, आपने ethics module फ्री में किया था, most of you, right? But right now there is a value of it. There is a £60, there is a 20-hour content जो असेस होता है, वो आपको बताता है आपके कौन से ट्रेड्स हैं। वो एथिक्स पे भी बात कर रहा है, पर्सनल इफेक्टिवनेस पे भी बात हो रही है, लीडरशिप पे भी बात हो रही है, कमर्शियल एक्यूमेन, इवन द बिग डाटा एंड ऑल दैट, एंड इट्स अवेलेबल फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट। गो थ्रू दैट, वो आपको एज अ मेंबर फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट आपके पास अवेलेबल है। दैट विल हेल्प यू टू बिल्ड और अंडरस्टैंड द मॉडर्न जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, वो उसकी बात कर रहा होगा। डेफिनेटली गो थ्रू दैट। इसके बाद जब आप एक मेंबर बन जाते हैं, तो दैट्स मीन आपका जो फंडामेंटल एक्सपेक्टेशन थी, दैट्स ऑलरेडी कवर्ड, एंड यू विल बी सरप्राइज्ड, आपके एम्प्लॉयर को ज्यादा पता होता है कि एसीसीए से उसने किस किस्म का बिहेवियर और कॉम्पिटेंसी फ्रेमवर्क एक्सपेक्ट करना है और किस किस्म का टेक्निकल स्किल एक्सपेक्ट करना है। अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु गो टू एम्प्लॉयर विद द अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि मैं जाके बताऊंगा, दे आर अवेयर ऑफ इट। मोस्ट ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयर जो अच्छे एम्प्लॉयर्स हैं, वो आपको उस एक्सपेक्टेशन के अगेंस्ट बेंचमार्क कर रहे होते हैं। So you have to understand that the course you have gone through, how that course was structured, उसमें क्या competencies expect कर रहे थे। And anybody who is going through a one report per year, believe me, after 12 months उनकी conversation बिल्कुल change हो जाती है। The type of endorsement they get from your social or professional network, वो बहुत फर्क आना शुरू हो जाती है, because you will be the one talking about AI for finance। कितनी बॉडीज हैं या कितनी यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं जो एआई फॉर फाइनेंस की बात कर रही है, या सोशल फॉर फाइनेंस की बात हो रही है, या साइबर सिक्योरिटी एंड सीएफओ रोल्स की बात हो रही है। सो देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ व्हिच इज कमिंग अप। जस्ट मेक श्योर देयर आर फ्यू पेजेस और देयर इज उसकी समरी भी होती है। यू कीप रीडिंग दैट एंड यूजिंग दैट इन योर कन्वर्सेशन। अगेन हिस्टोरिकली हम कैलकुलेटर से शुरू हुए, कंप्यूटर पे आए, और आज आपके पास ज्यादातर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक लाइव डिजिटल डैशबोर्ड चल रहा होता है जहां पे आपको अकाउंट्स रिसीवेबल, पेएबल, स्टॉक पोजीशंस नजर आ रही होती है। और अगर आप उस पे बैठे हुए हैं, किसी कंज्यूमर प्रोडक्ट को डील कर रहे हैं, तो शायद आपको सोशल बिहेवियर्स भी नजर आ रहे होते हैं कि आपकी प्रोडक्ट को किस हद तक एक्सेप्ट किया जा रहा है और किस हद तक क्रिटिसाइज किया जा रहा है, व्हिच हेल्प यू टू रियली फोकस द सेल्स, प्रोडक्शन एंड देन स्टॉक्स अकॉर्डिंगली। So that's the word where you are right now. क्या मैं आपने इसको छेड़ दिया? Race for relevance. Anybody has an idea? Race for relevance. I'll just share one thing. When I started the professional accounting back in mid 90s, वहाँ पे I started talking about, and I'm talking about 95, 96, right? So most of you might be very, very young at that stage. और वहाँ पे conversation जब मैंने शुरू किया, I was like, hey, now I got access to certain content, and I started talking about ERP and BPR and the process re-engineering. And in 95, people were saying, guys, okay, अच्छी बात है, आप बहुत अच्छी गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं, practical नहीं है. So यहाँ पे नहीं होता ये ऐसी चीजें. And believe me, when I was picking up that conversation in my social circle, my professional circle. जब मैंने एग्जाम पास कर लिया और मेरी ट्रेनिंग में भी 6 months रहते थे, I was approached by one of a large multinational why I can't come and join them, because I was the only professional accountant known to them जो इस तरह की गुफ्तगू कर रहा था, and they have something going forward. उनके plans में कुछ चीजें थी, and they wanted कि ये चीज आके देखें. And that's where that opportunity struck, because even at that time I was thinking ahead and I was building that in my conversation. That's what we call race for relevance. You don't talk about कि आज क्या हो रहा है. You try to understand कि future में क्या होना है, क्योंकि आपने जो कुछ करना है उसके लिए आपको 3 से 4 साल का रोड मैप चाहिए अपनी कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करने के लिए, ताकि 4 साल बाद आपकी वो रेलेवेंस रहे. अगर आज आप ये काम नहीं कर रहे होंगे, if you are not seeing the future, आप दो जगह पे खतरनाक हैं. आप अपने एम्प्लॉयर के लिए खतरनाक है, बिकॉज आप उसको ऐसी ओपिनियन और ऐसी एडवाइसेस दे रहे हैं जो फ्यूचर के लिए रेलेवेंट ना हो. पॉसिबल रिस्क है बहुत बड़ा. नंबर 2, आप अपने लिए रिस्क फैक्टर है, बिकॉज आप अपने आप को प्रिपेयर नहीं कर रहे. 4 साल में क्या होगा? अगर AI फॉर फाइनेंस की बात हो रही है, तो हाउ मेनी पीपल आर रियली फैमिलियर कि हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू प्ले योर रोल. सो रेस फॉर रेलेवेंस. The people who will be relevant for future, they are relevant for employer, they are relevant for client, and they are relevant for their own career. Just giving you another example, अगर आज आपको एक feasibility report पे को evaluate करना पड़े जो fossil fuel की बेस पे ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री की सेटअप की बात करे, so शायद there are a lot of people जो financial feasibility पे और business plan पे आके कहेंगे it's great because 8 लाख गाड़ियों की जरूरत है हमें आगे, given CPAC and all that, so it's a great industry. But a lot of people who are familiar that the regulations are changed और fossil fuel का future नहीं है, they will come back and say, guys, ठीक है, आप 4-5 साल के लिए तो बात कर सकते हैं, लेकिन इतना टाइम तो सेटअप में लग जाएगा, रेगुलेशन चेंज होगा. By the time you will start your production, your product may not be relevant for the market. So that's someone who has really acquired that knowledge today. Okay, what's happening in the rest of the world can provide a right opinion on a feasibility. Otherwise, you will be advising your client or your board incorrectly. So that's why it's important. Think ahead. आपको 4-5 साल आगे रहना पड़ता है, क्योंकि आज जो आप करेंगे उसका इम्पैक्ट 4-5 साल में आ रहा है. Okay, now this is an interesting equation. Performance versus reward. Average performance पे क्या reward होना चाहिए? Why? It's always a poor reward. Average performance pay, you always get a poor reward. Why somebody hire you? या client आपको क्यों hire करता है? For good performance. They never hire you for an average performance. So there is always an expectation that what the good look like. So you have to understand what the good look like. Average performance never get towards the average rewards. The good gets you the average or below average. Because that's what you are hired for. That's expected out of you. So if you are doing good, that's what was expected. So you don't expect the above average or a good response or rewards. That's true for clients. That's true for your employer as well. The last part, there's only one zone you want to be, and that's outstanding. You have to do more than what is expected. You have to deliver value well beyond what the cost is. तभी आप बेनिफिट की बात करते हैं ना. जब वैल्यू कॉस्ट से ज्यादा होती है तो देन देयर इज अ बेनिफिट. यू आर इन अ पॉजिटिव जोन. अगर वैल्यू कॉस्ट के इक्विवेलेंट है, इट्स जीरो. अगर वैल्यू कॉस्ट से कम है तो यू आर इन अ नेगेटिव जोन. सो इफ यू वांट टू बी इन अ गुड रिवॉर्ड और आउटस्टैंडिंग रिवॉर्ड, सो दिस इज द प्लेस यू वांट टू बी. higher than good or go up to the outstanding. And that's mean you have to really ask your question, what value you as an individual can add there. So I expect something, but you are there and you know yourself better than me. So that question for you, how you can add value which is well beyond my expectation. Second, there is another journey. Everybody want to be at this stage, pride, right? That's what we want to drive for ourselves and for our family. And before pride, we want to achieve our desired lifestyle. घर चाहिए, शादी चाहिए, गाड़ी चाहिए, बच्चे अच्छे स्कूल में चाहिए, मतलब whatever the material side or spiritual side of it. So you want your desired lifestyle. And the desired lifestyle 99 times out of 100 comes through the effort. And those efforts come from the decision, right? So your decision will drive what level of effort you have to put in to get to your desired life, and ultimately it will drive pride for yourself and your family and your society and for your country. And the decisions are based on two components, either information or awareness or your passion and belief. And the ideal decision, which is a combination of both, because effort is a difficult part and it takes time. So to consistently working or delivering that effort, you need a strong belief, you need a strong passion to support the decision you have taken initially. But everything starts with that decision. आज अगर आप decide कर लें कि आपका whatever the income level is there, you want to get to the desired income level, आपका इस decision के बाद एक effort चाहिए होगी आपको, और उस effort के लिए आपको वो passion चाहिए कि why you want that income level for this one. And to get there, it leads to pride. So I think ये equation और इसको understand करना बहुत जरूरी है. I just shared some of the data, and it's 15 and we are updating that for 17 now. How many believe it's true? We are talking about the new member salary range should be somewhere between 75 to 80,000, depend where they start. It's the starting point refer to the age side of it rather than anything else. Public practice में average जो है 8 to 13,000 का stipend available है. Corporate sector में 18 to 45 की average range है जो available है. And then post 5 year, that's the average people should be looking at, 300,000 plus. How many people believe it's true? और किसकी situation इसके साथ match करती है? How many people are here जिनकी situation match करती है? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't be shy. If you have raise hand, raise hand. And why other people believe they are not there? If there are 7 people sitting in this hall, feel that their situation worked there, why we feel other people are unable to achieve those benchmarks? And by the way, just to share with you, this is a benchmark given to us by employers. That's what they are willing to pay. And these are the minimum one. That's why you will see the word plus, particularly on the member side. This is what employers says they are willing to pay for these guys. What they expect, they are familiar with your behavior framework. How many of you have seen the behavior framework on ACCA website? 1, 2, 3. Your employer knows about it. How many know about your competency framework? And by the way, it's changing. By 24th May, there's a new competency framework, but that's significantly consolidation of the same. They are aware of that there's a competency framework against which they have to benchmark you. They understand that there is a certain specialization, which is a technical skill, whether corporate reporting, financial management, taxation, audit assurance. So these are the areas which they feel these are the specialization, these are the competencies, and these are the behavioral framework. In addition to that, they want to see people whom they are willing to pay, and we are talking about a new member, not the affiliate right now. The people who are self-assured, they find that most of the ACCA, when they enter in the room, they are very apologetic. When they are hiring a finance professional, they really need somebody who's very, very confident, because that's the confidence they have to bring to the table in the discussion when the financial decisions are being made. Well-dressed, well-groomed, responsible, credible, what you say, you do that part, punctual, but the most interestingly, listening and retaining. That's a very interesting thing which came back. And they feel that because you are a finance professional, you have to listen and really engage with a lot of people there. and then you have to absorb that information and then reflect it with the independent and objective opinions and guide the organization what to do or what not to do. They feel listening is a very, very important skill there. So you have to listen and retain, not to wait for your turn to speak, but you have to listen and retain. And then IT and local laws, all these things are already there. So this is the benchmark which they are working with for these new members. So for you, we started with the self-awareness. So this is one of an area you can use and start benchmarking yourself, where is the gap, and believe me, it doesn't take more than 3 months in today's world. कोई भी स्किल आपने या कोई भी बिहेवियर एस्पेक्ट आपने अंडरस्टैंड करना है और उसको डेवलप करना है, देयर इज सो मच कंटेंट अवेलेबल ACCA की साइड से भी, YouTube की साइड से, देयर इज सो मच हेल्प अवेलेबल दैट्स if you are not demonstrating the right professional behavior, it's a challenge for employer that having all those resources available, why you never worked on those. ठीक है, ये एम्प्लॉयर के लिए बहुत बड़ा क्वेश्चन होता है. जो भी नॉलेजेबल एम्प्लॉयर है, दे विल एक्सपेक्ट कि इट्स ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद इंडिविजुअल सेल्फ अवेयरनेस कि मेरा गैप कहाँ पे है एंड हाउ आई कैन गेट देयर. सो इफ वी आर लुकिंग फॉर एन एम्प्लॉयर इज सेइंग दैट they are willing to pay this much salaries, and I'm sure client की side पे भी आप देखेंगे तो they are willing to pay the higher fee provided you can be on an outstanding area, not the average, not the good one, but the outstanding. And this is not the outstanding area even. This is a fundamental expectation given what the qualification is all about. So that's mean another 8 to 12 weeks to be on the safer side. You put an effort and you will be a different person in terms of profession or as a professional behavior or professional understanding. Be very, very aware of life is changing and things are changing very fast. You have to start your journey by benchmarking where you are today and what you want to achieve. And believe me, आपका milestone भी change होता रहेगा with the period. Technology, ethics, professional behavior change हो रहे हैं. So you have to constantly upgrade or upskill yourself by using professional insight. Just make sure today when you go back, you download the ACCA Professional Insight app, and it will automatically start forcing you to understand what the new research is coming up. And believe me, आपके पैसे, आपके सब्सक्रिप्शन के पैसे रिसर्च पे खर्च होते हैं जो आपको वापस फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिल रही होती है. Yesterday I was sitting with a doctor, उन्होंने कहा कि आपको ना इस तरह की डाइट खानी चाहिए, और my wife was there and she said ये सब कुछ हमारे घर पड़ा हुआ है. तो उन्होंने कहा घर में पड़े रहने से नहीं फर्क पड़ता, खाने से फर्क पड़ता है. So while you are paying subscription, just make sure कि फिटनेस के लिए आपको फिटनेस सेंटर जाना पड़ेगा, उसकी सब्सक्रिप्शन दे के फर्क नहीं पड़ता. आप वेट नहीं लूज कर सकते सिर्फ सब्सक्रिप्शन दे के. यूज दोज फैसिलिटीज. So आपकी सबसे बड़ी एज अ मेंबर आपके पास, other than the network and everything, other than the CPDs and everything, ACCA का key differentiation जो है ना, वो उसकी professional insight है. Leverage that professional insight and start your journey and find out what are your desired milestones. Make it easy for yourself. Don't put complicated one. Put the income. Easiest way. कि मुझे 4 लाख पे जाना है, 5 पे जाना है, मुझे by this age million पे जाना है. What does it take? Who is going to pay that amount? Why they will pay that amount? People who are earning right now that type of income, where is the difference? Gap कहाँ पे है? And then you have to make your decision, and then you have to start your effort based on those decisions, which will take you to your desired lifestyle and ultimately create that pride for you. And leverage your network, like wherever you are right now, leverage ACCA for that. Stay connected, stay active, right? So your true earning potential is as good as the decision you make, and that's overall, that's my key message. And I encourage you, go and try to download or view some of the videos which are available on this session, and you can see कि जिन लोगों ने वहाँ पे poll attend किया था, उसमें जो उन्होंने feedback दिया था, what type of feedback, what type of earnings people have even today while you are sitting here, right? So make your decision and start your journey. So thank you very much. Thank you, Haroon, for giving me that opportunity.
Question and answer.
Fine.
What is not extremely informative? It did not challenge your perceptions about what your earning potential should be, right? Do you have any questions? Show hands. First person who asked the question.
My name is Anual. सर अभी आपकी स्लाइड में स्पेशलाइजेशन में आपने कुछ पॉइंट्स लिखे हुए थे कि कॉर्पोरेट रिपोर्टिंग, फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट, टैक्सेशन, ऑडिट, इंश्योरेंस, इसमें परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट नहीं.
So that's also just the one of a feedback, because the performance management जो है as a performance management the way we see वो इतना ज़्यादा उनके लिए understandable नहीं होता. They use it as a budgeting, planning and all that. So yeah, it's a part of there. That's given. एक बंदा जो वहाँ पे बैठा हुआ है who is doing all that part. So it's not that the performance management is not a part of it. The way we understand performance management versus the employer की जो terminology है वो थोड़ा सा फर्क है. So it's not that it's not there. It's very much there. It's a center of everything.
Hello, my name is Aamer. You just said that the stipend range is from 11,000 to 15,000 with an period, I guess. Is that correct?
I'm saying that if you are in a public practice, the public practice में 2015 का ये December का data है, so you can adjust that for inflation a little bit.
It's all right.
This is the range which in a public sector you should expect as a stipend. And this is a corporate side, 18 to 45,000, what you expect from a corporate side if you are in a corporate training. Because in a public practice, it's more governed through the regulated stipend. They are more open towards the training and they pay as per the talent.
HPL, HPL is considered a corporate sector and it's a gold employer. And I was recruited as an ACCA trainee at 11,000 stipend. So I don't know. Maybe, and when you become an ACCA member, okay, through ACCA, through your ACCA, professional experience, you get stipend from say 11,000 to 20,000. So how do you convince your employer, okay, by getting a jump from directly 20,000 to 75,000 immediately after you become an ACCA member, okay, even by going out in the market or by convincing your existing employer? How is that possible?
Okay, I'll come back to that. But when you were with HPL, when you were with HPL,
I started my.
Which year? Because today, this morning, we had a session and their stipend level is 45,000. They have approved a new policy which is called MTO from the board. जहाँ पे stipend level is 25 to 45,000 starting from a year 1 to year 3. They have came up with a progression around it. So we are working with the employers to come up with the progression, and we are working more and more.
December 13th, to be exact.
Yeah, so I think because it's a very recent phenomenon, last year they got that approval, and now all the ACCA trainees work on 25 to 45,000 का जो range है, if I'm not mistaken, HPL ने अपने board से approve करवाई है, and that's exactly their pay. But answering your second question, that's exactly the one problem which they are facing as well. जब वहाँ से एक affiliate complete करते हैं, end पे वो 45,000 पे होता है, they go back to the HR that now I'm a member and I need to get a more more responsibility and the role. So how they can bring them 45,000 to 75,000? That's definitely one of the challenge which was posed this morning as well with the one of lady who attended that one, and she's just completing that. उनकी line management ने 70 plus पे उनको recommend करके HR को भेजा, and that's a very much today's scenario. And the HR came back, उन्होंने कहा नहीं, we have checked the market and the market is somewhere like 47. And I'll give you why HR get confused there, and that's where we need a lot of members to support us as well. अभी तक market में understanding, because we are a part of a corporate training, I क्या बहुत अभी recently गया है corporate training में. So somehow ACCA affiliates, ACCA students, they always post them as a ACCA, and the member go back and they also talk about the ACCA. They do not distinguish themselves trainee and stipend, job and salary. So उसकी वजह से market में definitely एक challenge है इस वक्त. While you are working with the same, जिस employer के साथ आपने training की है, उसी employer के पास आप जाना चाहें, unless until they are very much aware of the differentiation, ये आपका challenge होता है. Second challenge आता है जब members start accepting it, rather than fighting it back or engaging ACCA कि मेरे पास ये आ रहा है, and then we can go and create that differentiation कि आपने उनको training पे रखा है और training and job does not equal in a way. ये नहीं हो सकता कि stipend का 10% 20% increase करके आप किसी member को job पे रख ले. Use us for that conversation, raise that voice. हम भी वो awareness करें, लेकिन with yourself, like the 5,000 people talking the same language will help rather than accepting that. Market में the people who are more aware of, they are willing to do that and they are doing it right now. लेकिन जहाँ पे आप वो accept कर लेंगे without fighting, without giving them the independent objective opinions कि नहीं आप HR को engage करके कि ये these are the things which you have to consider. I was a student and now I'm no more a student. I am a member whose opinion counts. As a trainee, my opinion never counts. So what's the difference? We are doing that job. You have to help us out as well as an advocate to take it to the HR. And anybody you find जो इस तरह के dilemma से गुजर रहे, please try to help us to get connected with those employers. We are willing to help that and most of the time HR understand it. लेकिन उनके लिए वो जो confusion है ना ACCA student और member की, वो बहुत दफा उन्हें तंग करती है. उसमें हम सबका एक collective advocacy का role है कि हमने इसमें educate करना है. And I'm sure with the ICAP coming into the corporate training, ये awareness ज़्यादा तेजी से आएगी उनके पास, क्योंकि वो regulated environment के साथ आ रहे हैं, तो they will be able to segregate these two things. So वो एक common voice आएगी about it going forward. But engage us, please do that.
Right. Any further questions? Any comments?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you, Sajjeed. Big round of applause for Sajjeed, please. Great. So we move on to our next part of the agenda. मैं कोशिश करूँगा बिल्कुल इफ्तार जब मौलवी साहब अज़ान दे रहे हो ना उस वक्त अनाउंसमेंट मजा आएगा. अभी मुझे एक MNP मेंबर यहाँ बैठे हुए नजर आए हैं, छुपे हुए नीचे नीचे होके बैठ रहे हैं. So जरा फौजी फर्टिलाइजर वाले साहब आगे आ जाए. सर अस्सलाम वालेकुम, इधर आ जाए. So clapping for Muslims. हम अक्सर जब मेंबर्स को मिलते हैं तो कहते हैं जो हमारे सीनियर मेंबर्स थे उन्होंने ACCA को पाकिस्तान में स्टेबलाइज करने के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले किया हुआ. सो आमिर अलाउद्दीन साहब इज़ वन ऑफ द सीनियर मोस्ट मेंबर्स. जब लोगों को ACCA का नाम भी मालूम नहीं होता था पाकिस्तान में, ही वाज अ मेंबर देन. फिर इसी तरह हमारे एक मेंबर थे मरहूम जुनैद साहब जो कि अर्न्स्ट एंड यंग में थे. सो आई थिंक fantastic personality and ACCA owes to these members big time. So आज जो recognition जो आप देख रहे हैं market में ACCA की, that is purely because of the fact that these senior members were there on the ground at a time when nobody knew what ACCA was. Believe you me, when I joined ACCA back in 2005 and I am considered antique in ACCA, I used to tell my friends, my colleagues, etc. कहाँ काम करते हो ACCA में? अच्छा scans में काम कर रहे हैं. So that was the usual response. So in a way we're fighting, this is a brand war between scans and ACCA. Not that we want scans to lose, but ACCA, right? So that's the background of the role that these senior members have played. Let me now invite our chairman of the members network panel, Mr. Aamer Allauddin. आमिर साहब की थोड़ी सी मैं बैकग्राउंड बताना चाहता हूँ. One of the senior most members, मुझे नहीं पता, मेरे तो मेरा ख्याल है बचपन में जब मैं मैट्रिक का एग्जाम दे रहा हूँ तब आमिर साहब मेंबर थे. और I think he was amongst those individuals who were the first ones to be picked up for the members advisory committee. जब हम ACCA ने सोचा कि members की representation in the form of an advisory committee होना चाहिए और हमने कहा कि हम select खुद करेंगे members को, तो आमिर साहब उस वक्त members advisory committee के member select हुए थे. और उसके बाद I think for it's been about around 15 years now, isn't it? Around 15 years. So for good 15 years, this young energetic man has been giving a lot of his time and a lot of his energy to ACCA, to the welfare of ACCA, to the welfare of members of ACCA. So your round of applause will indicate to him how much do we owe back to this man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Haroon. Yes, just to put the dates into perspective, I've been a member since 1988. That's 30 years now. Thank you. Sajjeed's been talking about the future, telling you how to conduct yourself to try and get the best reward for your efforts. What I'm going to be doing is talk about the past. What's happened in the last 1 year? 2 years? 2 years. This is the outgoing MNP. We've got some new members sitting here. The MNP now. This is the outgoing MNP 2016 to 2018. See some photographs on that, some names, and some of these people should be familiar. I just talk a little about the governance structure of ACCA. There is a council, and they set the objectives and set policy. And then on the other side, you've got the executive, headed by the chief executive, and regional structures, national offices like ACCA Pakistan. On this side, you have the member networks, like this member network, which feeds in to council through the International Assembly. And council has a number of committees and task forces that also, you see these arrows, they're moving both ways, so from council to the committees and vice versa. This is basically the governance structure, and this is where we fit in, the member networks and the International Assembly. Mandate of the MNP, the role, and I think you need to understand that because this is your representative body, and you should know what the MNP does, and you need to be aware of that. And you've got problems, so you should approach the MNP members with those problems. So, mandate of the MNP, the role is to advise Council, the Chief Executive, and the Chief Executive of Pakistan on matters relating to strategic development, current and future issues affecting network members, raising ACCA's profile, new ideas and topics, which may be addressed through courses, publications, and other services. So this is basically the mandate of the MNP. So formation, and how does the MNP actually go about its business? Formation of subcommittees, directing subcommittees to lead technical consultative papers with subcommittees, supporting ACCA towards CPD events to members, and I think that's an important area for all of us. Mentoring ACCA trainee students and members, and promoting benefits for ACCA memberships. A lot of photographs there. Collective Vision for an Emerging Pakistan. This was the flagship event held recently. I think it was in March, end of March, and it was held in Lahore, Karachi, and Islamabad. And these are some of the photographs. If you remember, those of you who attended this, that there was the wall which was brought to Pakistan, and with 200,000 names on it. And you see a lot of people who went there, and all of us. I was very excited about it, even at this stage. I went up and I picked my name and I had a photograph taken. So, and that wall's been traveling around the world. Currently, I believe it's being displayed in London at the headquarters.
Going to go to Sydney now.
Right. Yes. So that wall is traveling around. I think it got to Pakistan at a very early stage. I mean, if you look at its travels. So this, these are some of the glimpses of what happened there. This Pakistan Leadership Conference is an extremely important annual event now. It was one in 2017. This one held in 2018. High-level flagship event of ACCA. This was followed the same evening by the new member ceremony. Again, a very lively event where the new members. There was also a bit of song and dance there, and they enjoyed themselves. Some more photographs. This is delivering exceptional public value awards. These were given out at this event as well. And one of the recipients, Mr. Omer, Zaheer, is sitting here in the front row. This was at the new member ceremony, and these awards in Lahore, they were given out by the governor. I think Karachi, they were given out to the governor as well, the Sindh governor. Right, now this is sorry. This is something which is very close to everybody's hearts, particularly members here. And the debate rages on, and it's engulfed many in MNP, and I'm sure that the next member panel will also be seized by this. Reduced subscription criteria. So now there have been some changes. There's the extended leave subscription, which is £54. So if you're raising a family full-time or a full-time carer, have left accountancy to pursue a religious vocation, have re-entered full-time education, are experiencing long-term employment, are suffering a prolonged illness that's prevented them from member from seeking employment, then you may be entitled to this £54 annual subscription. But you must remember that these are it's not a blanket reduction. It's assessed on a case-to-case basis. The other one is subscription assistance, and that fee is £121 as opposed to £236, and that is if you're earning less than £5,000 a year. These, I understand, are things that have particularly for this for the Pakistan market, and I think that a lot of effort has gone into this at different levels by the members, and a lot of effort by the executive to get to where we are today. So, benefits of membership. Well, we're part of a global community of ACCA members, 200,000 strong, huge. I mean, those of you who've seen the wall, shows the awesomeness of this this huge number. Those numbers, you can't even see them, so you need a magnifying glass to find your name. They've obviously made it easier. They've told you where it is, so you go and look for that particular column, row, and the panel to find your own name. Now, market recognition. Now, over the years, and recently, I think that this is something that some of you may be aware of. Sort of things that have happened. So, appointment as CFO and head of internal audit. These are statutory things that have happened recently. So, the Code of Corporate Governance says that you can be a CFO or a head of internal audit of a listed company. You can be a CFO and head of internal audit and company secretary of a public sector company, and the relevant statute is given alongside. So you can be appointment, you can be a chief executive officer of a public sector company, authorized representative for income tax, registered tax practitioner, authorized representative for sales tax, e-intermediaries. A lot of this tax stuff has happened recently, so I think that is a huge leap for ACCA members. ACCA qualification included as part of qualification pay for civil servants of federal government, appointment of accounts officer, grade 17 job, practicing member of ACCA is eligible to register as an intermediary for SECP. So these are statutory recognitions or statutory, which have provided these benefits for ACCA members. This is the letter that I think probably most of you are familiar with, the equivalence of membership by the AGC. It's considered to be equivalent to an MPOP degree, 16-year degree. Market recognition. Now, this was held last year, at about this time last year. 30 days, 100 employers. This was an initiative taken by ACCA Pakistan. And this was something that was appreciated not just here, but throughout the world. The ACCA globally appreciated this effort that was initiated here in Pakistan. So 30 days, 100 employers. This was we had members who visited various employers, and as part of the research and insights research that had been done by ACCA, they went and did sessions so this was done in 30 days. ACCA covered 100 employers, and this is something that's fantastic. Some of us were part of this. This was very invigorating and massive event, the way we saw it. And the feedback from overseas was phenomenal as well on this. This was basically, so 100 research and insight sessions. This was the, some statistics here. 90% was the average session feedback. I think the employers appreciated it a great deal. And this sort of showcased ACCA and the members in particular, because the members went there and they did those sessions, and what the people saw were ACCA members. So, this was some of the statistics on this. And this thing has continued after that. That was done last year, 100 employers, but this activity goes on even today, and therefore these are some of the figures that, so average session feedback rating 94%, 92%, 90%. So, fantastic rating that we're getting back on the feedback. And some of the endorsements from employers on these particular sessions. So more endorsements. Now, professional development for members. Professional development, CPD hours, 1,000 plus. A lot of CPD. I know that it's mostly webinar based, but it has its advantages because of the outreach. I mean, you go to people who can't actually attend face-to-face sessions. Getting to a place is difficult. You may be located somewhere and you cannot travel for a face-to-face session. So webinars are a great way of getting to these people. But obviously, I think there is some, about the face-to-face sessions as well. And I think that ACCA does hold a few face-to-face sessions. They'll probably be increasing those as time goes on. But mostly, but look at the huge number of hours, 1,000 plus CPD hours delivered, participants 30,000, and again, excellent feedback on this. Employment support, weekly job insights. I think most of you get these every week, and this I think is considered very useful by people who are actually receiving this bulletin every week. ACCA practicing firms, leading the profession, Pakistan leadership conversation. We just talked about this. This is the event that was just held recently. ACCA budget proposal and seminar, again very well received. The pre-budget and the post-budget seminars that were held recently, well attended, and with ICAP, Institute of Cost Management, LCCI, and NTB. I think this is the first time they probably shared the platform for this sort of an event. So again, a huge step in that direction. Now, Brian McHenry visited twice during his tenure. I think he was the vice president once, and the next time he returned as president. Was he here as president twice? President twice. Okay. So that was great. He really likes Pakistan apparently, and he would like to visit here again. Where is Brian McHenry at the State Bank? This is when he visited FAST, and because I work at FAST, it was a great honor for me as an individual as well to have received him at FAST, and he did a session there and met the people there, and he went back quite happy, I think. Leaders in Islamabad Summit. This was during the same visit last year. This was ACCA careers launched in Pakistan. Again, we're talking about, this was the, I think this was held in all major cities in Pakistan. Now, usage of the ACCA careers job board. So, people are aware and have used it 77%. Is that a true reflection? What about you people here? Have you used this? Did you find it useful? Are you aware of this? So that 77% are aware and have used it, and about 20% were aware but have not used it. And I would advise people who have not used it to also try and use it and see where it takes them. Develop a much stronger ACCA member network, right? LinkedIn, WhatsApp. And I think we've seen the recent MNP elections again, making good use of this social media and plastered all over the place, LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp. So people, members making good use of this. I've come to the end of this presentation, and all that remains for me is to wish the new members who've been elected to the next MNP, which is going to be 2018 to 2020. We wish them the best of luck from all of us from the previous MNP, and we hope that you have a lot of success in the next 2 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Aamer sir. So this was a very quick summary of all the work that Members Network Panel has been doing, like holding those meetings, giving advice to the head of ACCA Pakistan, and conveying feedback coming from all of you. The one Aamer sir was very humbly, sort of mentioned it, but I'll just pick up on one example, and that was the reduced subscription policy. And this gives you an idea of how MNP functions. So back in 2016, ACCA, the council said that this reduced subscription policy, the spirit of the policy is that it is meant for those members who are not employed, right? So the question of earning £5,000 or not earning £5,000, that comes later. Anybody who's not employed will have access to the reduced subscription policy. Others who are employed will not have access. Which means, and at that time, there were about 51% of ACCA members in Pakistan using the reduced subscription policy. So the biggest impact of this one decision came on Pakistan, and we used to get calls left, right, and center of members. What should we do? How should we pay? Etc. So this is where the MNP comes in. Number one, advise to head of ACCA Pakistan, making head of ACCA Pakistan aware of the facts and sentiments from different members. Number two, Helen Brand traveled to Pakistan. She was attending an MNP meeting, and in that meeting, the MNP members raised this with her. Number three, Brian McHenry came to Pakistan. This was once again, explained to him also. Number four, we have a council member in Pakistan. Do you know her name? Ayla. Yes. So Ayla raised this at the council meetings, right? And as a result of all this, consultation, ACCA decided that it will be prudent to have a second category of reduced subscription. So when Aamer sir was showing the reduced subscription policy to you, a second category of reduced subscription was mainly introduced, keeping in mind the demand coming from members in Pakistan. So this is how MNP members have escalated your emotions, your expectations to the highest level in the organization, and therefore the change in policy accordingly. So that is what MNP can do to you. Now please remember, MNP is not there to solve individual issues. Okay, so you cannot go to an MNP member and tell him, look, my annual subscription is not being paid and I'm being suspended, so can you please save me from suspension? MNP is not there for any transactional support. Executives, customer services, the customer services team, the member affairs team, we are the ones who help you with transactional level work. MNP would be there in situations when an issue affects more than 10% of the members in Pakistan. And 10% of the members in Pakistan would mean what? If you have 5,000 members in Pakistan, around 500 members. So MNP, can raise that awareness, or can, share those expectations with us if the level of that issue that you're facing is such widespread. Now, for example, giving another example, MNP has at length been discussing the level of knowledge of members regarding local law and local tax. And a lot of debate has happened. And a lot of work that has gone in as a result was because of the consultation that MNP has done time and again. There were a lot more things that MNP wanted to do. So, for example, convincing young students who are still studying to take the Pakistani variant rather than the UK variant, national variant. Or to make sure that when they're coming out as affiliates, they at least should turn back and see that there's a Pakistani variant available. What's stopping young students and affiliates from taking that module as an addition? Or if they've finally come out as members, there should be enough content available, enough up-to-date content available for them, so they don't go away with limited knowledge, or with no knowledge about taxation, or with giving wrong advice about taxation, which could be a reputational damage for ACCA. Right? So there was enough work done in that regard. Similarly, financial reporting standards. There was this realization that a lot of changes continue to happen. I know I'm killing time. मैं 7 बजने में 5 मिनट का इंतजार कर रहा हूँ. But those are important subjects. The MNP members continuously tell the Secretariat, look, this is an important topic. We must do something about it, right? And that's how you see most of the MNP members. Forensic accounting. This young member who's made history in MNP elections, right? He's an expert in forensic accounting. Right? And he was the one who the first time came forward and said, I want to do a webinar or a session for members on forensic accounting. Right? So that's how, so much content has been delivered, is sitting on the net, waiting for you to view it. 20,000 members have already, there are not 20,000 members in Pakistan, but members have viewed those videos 20,000 times. And the reward of that is, I got a call from an ACCA member. Sir, I have been without a job for such and such time. This is my opportunity. I'm in Middle East right now. My employer has asked me that I would want you to take a test in IT skills. I want to see how good you are. Right? So how can ACCA help me? And I simply pointed him to some of the videos on different data analytics sessions in Excel and in different information technology softwares that we've kept up there. So overnight, this young man went through a few of those trainings. And as a result, the next day when he was sitting through that test, he could easily pass that test and he got the job. And then you can feel the emotions of how would that member have called back and said thank you. And that's the reward, that is for us, and that's for the MNP to cherish. I'm sure a lot of you have skills that you would want to share with other members. So come forward, become a part of this campaign. Now, we're finally coming to the point where we have to announce the MNP results. Do all of you already know the results? So what am I doing here? No, you don't. So just let me start that presentation. I'll quickly take you through it. Okay. Members Network Panel. All of you know that this time voting was done through a portal online. Why this portal? Why through a third party? And Sajjeed this time was adamant that no matter what the cost, and by the way, we've paid a big cost. I mean, we've put a huge bill because we wanted to do it online and because we wanted a third party to do it. Only one reason, and that was transparency of the system. Okay. This is the same portal that does elections for ACCA Council globally. Okay. Now, I was explaining this to our MNP members, and such is the importance of staying active on the register. 18th of April, we were to announce the elections open. We delayed that till after 22nd, and that is because 22nd April was the suspension date for members who were not active. And we did not want that members who were inactive should have a say in the selection of the MNP. Okay? And therefore, the number of voters, which before 22nd were about 5,300, dropped to around 4,000. And only 4,000 people were allowed to vote. A number of members who got reinstated afterwards. I mean, I got a call from a member who got reinstated on the 24th of April. He said, I am reinstated today, can you please include my name? And we had to apologize. So that's how strict and transparent the system was. So 3,998 to be precise was the number of voters. Now, for the first time in the history of ACCA, 25% members voted, which means 976. Previous year or previous term, the percentage of vote was around 16%. So 25% members voted. And all that happened because, like Aamer said, every wall on Facebook, which was to do about ACCA, was plastered, literally plastered by election campaigns.
WhatsApp group, LinkedIn.
WhatsApp groups as well, yes, and LinkedIn. Yeah. So a lot of campaigning, canvassing happened, right? And I must say that 99.9% of that was purely professional. Very, very professional. There were strict guidelines laid out, and I mean, people sitting at ACCA had hawk eyes, and we were screening through content, and we were being reported of issues, and we were taking care of those issues there and then, without any delays. And that's how the system was kept transparent. Not even a single instance of unprofessionalism reported, except for the fact a few members tried sending emails and they were immediately reprimanded. Because sending emails without a consent is called spamming, and spamming is not professional, right? So very, very professional. 976 total votes, invalid votes 0. Quota, I'll explain these terminologies later. Non-transferable votes, election rules, ERS 97. This is all Persian gibberish to you at the moment. If you want to understand what it is, you can send me an email and I'll give you a description of all these terminologies to you. So total turnover of voters was 25%. Now, I didn't want to share this with you. All right, so as you all know, the results of the elections were, and you have to give a big round of applause to all these new MNP members. Aamer Ali, 149 people mentioned him as the first preference. And the total number of votes he got, I mean, including the second and third or the fourth or the fifth position, the total number of votes he got was 155.34. Okay, I'll explain the decimal point over the slide. Fiza Imran, and these are in alphabetical order. Fiza Imran, 112 individuals voted her as the first preference, and 152.44 votes overall. Hafiz Arsalan Shabir, 137 first preferences. How many of you know Arsalan here? Oh my goodness. Sajjeed, these are more than you. Okay. 155.34 total votes. Our IFRS guru, Muhammad Abu Bakr, right? And sir, can I take some credit of your contesting the elections? The final webinar that he was running on IFRS, and I requested him, sir, we want you in the MNP, so please contest elections. And he listened to it. He said, look, I don't know anything about election canvassing, right? I don't know whether I win or not. But such was his popularity because of those sessions that he done, or his contribution towards your development, that you people picked him up. And the fifth member, I'm not in order of votes, but alphabetically, Tahir Sartaj, and Tahir has joined us from webinar. He's a Karachi-based member, works at the National Bank. So 72 first-time preferences and 103 total votes in all. So ladies and gentlemen, these are the 5 elected ACCA MNP members for the term 2018-2020. But the story goes on. There are okay. There are a total of 10 MNP members. So वो बाकी the 5 कहाँ गए? The remaining 5 are selected by the head of ACCA Pakistan. Okay. Now, if you notice, 4 of these members come from Lahore. Fiza, we consider you Faisalabad, so we'll say you Faisalabad, all right? And only one. Gee, but Fiza is midway between Faisalabad and Tahir is the only one from Karachi. What is the criteria for MNP election or selection? Election is, of course, by your preference, but selection is by geographical spread. Where is the person located? Of course, the job profile. What is the person doing? I mean, is the person representative of majority of the members? Right? What is the gender balance? Okay. So such are the factors because of which we then go ahead and select 5 members as well. And ladies and gentlemen, lo and behold, pictures. That's Tahir Sartaj. He's sitting in Karachi. The 5 appointed members of MNP are: number 1, Asad Ali Shariff. He's the Chief Financial Officer of Standard Chartered Bank, ACCA member, based in Karachi. I think Asad has been instrumental for all our relationships with the State Bank of Pakistan. मुझे 2 मिनट का इशारा कर दिया उन्होंने. Murtaza Hassan, Frontier Business Consulting, based in Peshawar. He was a very important element in our relationship with the Pakistan Tobacco Association. He wrote down their legislation, right? So sort of gave us a lot of highlight with the Pakistan Tobacco Board. Omer, Zaheer, you all know. How many of you know Omer, Zaheer? Okay, excellent. Our tax guru. Salman Zafar is the Director Internal Audit at Competition Commission of Pakistan, based in Islamabad. And finally, Salman Irshad, he's the CFO of Multan Carpets Industry. So a big round of applause to all these appointed and elected ACCA MNP members. So now you see with the complete picture, there's a representation of literally all cities and almost all sectors. Once again, very sorry to say that there was a member from Quetta that I wanted to bring in. He was working for the public sector, but once again, the issue was with his current status. He has been, he's a suspended member, trying to get reinstated, but since today he was not active, unfortunately, we could not announce him as an MNP member as well. But we would really love to bring someone from Balochistan or Quetta onto the panel as well for an excellent very well-rounded representation of members from across the country. How to get in touch with these MNP members? We haven't shared their email address with you, etc. Of course, you can network, but if you ever want to get in touch with them, I'll come in between. Okay, so you send me an email, just mention that you would want to send it on to such and such MNP member. I'll see if that can be done, and then I send it on. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so you just send me your emails, and I'll pass them on to the respective MNP members with the chair and the vice chair and copy. I think 1 more minute left. Abhi Maulvi sahab ne azan deni hai, so all right. I think this has already been explained, so I'll just skip and skip this and skip this, yeah, to come to the final slide. And I'll just describe this one slide, and then I will not stay between you and Iftar. ACCA का जो गवर्नेंस स्ट्रक्चर है वो एग्जाम्पलरी है. अभी पाकिस्तान की जो अकाउंटिंग बॉडीज हैं, they are trying to learn from us on how this governance structure works and how can they adopt this governance structure. So in the red box, the council approves, since ACCA is a membership body, council is the governing body of the body. So council approves ACCA strategy and achievement measures, working with the chief executive and the executive team. So the executive team proposes the strategy, they approve it, and they also approve the KPIs. Then the chief executive and the teams are responsible for the delivery of that strategy. How many members to induct, how many students, etc. What should be our professional insight policy, members policy, etc. So all that. And then, straight from the chief executive and the executive team, the corporate and operational headquarters are responsible for delivering strategy on the national level. So the national level is the Pakistan level. And we come to an end. Thank you very much, Promise Cat. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Iftar and time for networking. Please proceed to the Iftar area. Thank you very much.